been saying it for months, if not years, that this right here is more valuable than cash. And today I found out that I was right. So now we can't withdraw cash from the bank, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. So I have a small bank. It's a credit union. Then I have a savings account. It's online savings account with really good interest rates. So I have two different accounts. Then I have a third account somewhere else, but I don't hardly keep much money in that. So what I try to do is I try to keep my money in different places. That way, if something happens, debit card gets stolen or my online password gets stolen, I only lose some of the money that I have, not all of it. I should probably go ahead and diverse into that third bank that I was telling you about, but I don't. But ever since I've been in the credit union, they don't limit how much I can spend per day, and it's not much. And I didn't find this out until my ex-wife left. She had not gotten her money out of our account. We had a shared account. So she was using the account, I was using the account. We were being good to each other, realizing that each of us had money in the account and we were not stealing from each other. Well, I decided that I wanted to break away from that account, so I started a new account. And I started transferring money from our shared account into the new account. And I just put in a number, I forget what it was, but let's say it was $1,000 or whatever it was. Well, then she called me up just a little while later. She said, "What'd you do to the checking account?" I didn't do anything. I took some money out and put it into a new account. So I explained exactly what I did, why I did it. And I mean, she understood that I was trying to separate our accounts out. So she said, "They locked the account." Well, I said, "Well, I'll call and see what's going on." So I called. And I was only allowed to transfer $700. Now recognize, I was transferring it from one account inside the bank, this credit union, to another account inside the credit union. It's not like I was taking the money out or anything. Now that I have that other account, that on the line account, I have to be very careful that I don't overspend. Let's say I've got, and just hypothetical numbers, let's say I got $5,000 in the checking account that I want to transfer over to savings. I got to do it $700 a day. Actually, I got to do it less, because if I do $700, that means I can't spend any money that day. I can't use the ATM. It's always been a little bit limiting, but I've never really paid much attention to it. Well, when I bought this property, I knew that I was going to have troubles getting cash. So I had to drive to the bank, way out of the way, because the bank was way over there and the property's way over here. I don't want to get into all that. I like the credit union, I really do, because it's a small bank and it's members owned. You know, I own a piece of it. I kind of like all that. And it's not this big conglomerate that can dictate to me what they're going to do. I feel a little bit safer with them. And they're really good about security, always calling me. I remember one time I bought something on Amazon. They're like, "Boy, this was a big purchase." So they called me. I remember one time I went out of state and I forgot to tell them I was going out of state. And I was changing the oil on the truck, is what I was doing in Mississippi. And they called me and said, "Are you changing oil in Mississippi?" So I appreciate that they monitor my purchases. I don't know if all banks do it, but I like that. So when I went to buy this property, I needed $4,200. Well, I knew I wasn't going to be able to go to ATM or anything. The guy wanted cash, which was fine. It was a cash transaction. Met him in the parking lot at the title place to transfer the deed. So I went to the bank and I said I needed, the property was $4,200, plus I got a couple extra dollars out because I had to pay for the deed transfer. So let's say it was $4,500. And the bank quizzed me, "What are you getting the money out for?" Well, at the time I didn't really even think about it. I told them, "Well, I'm buying a piece of property." I was more excited about buying the property, and I was pretty nervous about taking that much cash out. I've never taken that much cash out of the bank before. So it was just kind of a nerve-wracking thing. But hindsight being 2020, I realized they weren't asking me just to, "Hey, how you doing? You know, oh, what are you doing now?" You know, they weren't trying to be friendly. They were quizzing me. They were asking, "Is there a specific purpose for getting that much cash out?" And I wonder what they would have said if I said, "Well, none of your business." Because just a few days ago, I watched a video of a guy. I'm sure a lot of you watch his videos. I'm not going to mention his name. I don't try to advertise other YouTubers. And there's no reason to put in the comment section because I delete those as well. Not that I have anything against the YouTuber, I don't have his permission to say his names, but he was talking about he went to get some money out to do some construction or something, and it must have been a real nightmare. I mean, I didn't get all the specifics, and I thought, yeah, no, that's kind of yucky. That's terrible. Why would they do that to the guy? He's got the cash. And it reminded me of buying this property. I mean, I didn't get the runaround that he got, but he's in a larger bank also. So ended up he had to go to the manager, and the manager quizzed him for an hour. I'm not even sure if he actually got the money out or not. Well, then yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I have this guy, a subscriber, who's contacted me for years. He's been with my channel for years, watches all the time. I don't know if he watches all the videos. He lives in Tennessee, and he's always talking to me about different things. And he wrote me the other day, and he says, boy, Rob, you were right about all this banking stuff. He says, we do need to invest in food and wood and things that we can use. He says, I was wanting to buy well, he didn't really tell me I could use his information, so he wanted to buy something from a neighbor. And he wanted $15,000. And they wouldn't let him have it. He said, well, how much can I have? And they said, none. He said, well, I just want to, pay cash for this. And they said, no, you can't do it. You got to write a check, or you can have a cashier's check. But they wouldn't let him buy. And the thing he wanted to buy isn't illegal. Lots of guys, when they're my age, want to buy this thing. So he went back and forth with them for a long time, and they wouldn't let him have the money because they told him he had to have a cashier's check or a check. Maybe there's security issues they're worried about. Maybe they're worried that you're going to do something illegal with this cash. But I don't see how that's the bank's responsibility. Why are they making the determination on what a person can buy or not buy with cash? If there's criminal activity going on, it seems to me the guy who's committing the criminal activity is responsible for the criminal activity, not the bank. He just wanted to buy old man's toys, what he wanted to buy. So he says, well, how much can I take out? And they said, none today. You have to come back later. So what he thinks he's going to have to do is come in and get smaller amounts of money on a daily basis. The problem with that is the guy is in a hurry. He wants to sell the thing, and so he doesn't know how he's going to get the cash out. I know that I would never want to buy anything like that. I say that, but then I bought the property. That being said, now that I know about these issues, and that my bank only allows me to have $700, I've known that for a long time, so I always have tried to work around that scenario. That's why I went to the bank to get the $4,200. But now I know this. If I have a plan that I want to buy some big item with cash, I would probably just go to the ATM machine for a few weeks. I don't know how long it would take, but go there every day, take out the maximum amount, $200, whatever it is, until I had the right amount of cash. Or I would just go to the bank and take out $700 or whatever it is per day. That way I could get the cash collected. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, I just keep the cash under my bed. There's this economic guy on YouTube, and he was actually talking about a bank problem too, that they were trying to get money out. And he said that we're going to digital currency. Well, I've been telling you we're going to go to digital currency. The country is going to go to digital currency. That means they're going to eliminate cash. So if you have all this cash under your bed, it's quite likely it's going to be worthless. This YouTuber that was talking about digital currency said when the euro transferred, one day you had, back in the early 2000s, some sort of currency, pounds or whatever it was, and then the next day you had euros. So they just switched it over, just like that. And so that's probably what would happen is one day they're just going to say, no cash. Everything's got to be electronic. What's interesting and what I find amazing is my bank doesn't allow transfers from one account to the other account in the same bank, but they do allow large transfers through PayPal. And I find that very interesting because that's a digital form of money. I mean, it's just transfers of money. So why is it the PayPal gets a break on that kind of behavior, but nothing else does, even your own ATM? So what I've been advocating, and what I think you really should do, is stop relying on money in general. That is hard for a lot of people to imagine. It's not for me. I don't really need large amounts of money, cash or anything. Everything we need, we have. We have firewood, we have water, we have food. And we're very self-sustaining. We can do it without any cash. Don't get me wrong, we still spend money. We still live in a society. We're going out and getting things, you know, going to the grocery store and still buying beef versus having chicken meat all the time. Those things are still nice. You know, we don't want to be completely out there in the middle of nowhere. We still like having some of the nice conveniences, but we don't have to. We have set ourselves up where we don't have to have cash. So if one day I wake up and they decide my cash is worthless, my money in the banks is worthless, it would be very frustrating. But it wouldn't be the end of the world for us. I still can get heat, I can still get water, I can still have electric. I wouldn't be able to have internet anymore, and I wouldn't be able to run the truck. That's about the only thing that we would lose. The well, we could still run on the solar panels, so we don't need gas for the generators. There's just nothing that we have to have that requires money. So I'm encouraging you to immediately start looking for property. Even if you got to sell your house, and I know when I say this, people get aggravated with me. I'm not selling my house, I worked too hard for it. If you owe on your house and things go bad, and you have no money, they've taken your money or they've made it digital currency or whatever it is, you may not have a house that you worked hard for. So sell it now, take whatever equity you got out of it, buy yourself a piece of property, cheap. You can find these cheap pieces of property. Stop looking for the 20 acres. Look for the 5 acres or look for the 2 acres. That's something you can afford. Build yourself a little tiny house or go to Home Depot and get a shed that you can put on your property. Not all the states allow you to do that. Missouri does. Get yourself a trailer frame like we had here, a mobile home trailer frame. Park it on that piece of property. Build something on it. Even if you're not a good builder, maybe you know someone that could help you put it together. I mean, it took me by myself, building the whole thing by myself, no help, about 3 months to build that. A guy who knows what he's doing probably could build it in a weekend. Then you got someplace to live, some security, and immediately start working on firewood. That's what we did the first year we were here. Even though we didn't have a place to really live, we were living in the camper, we started in on firewood. So if you click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about that digital currency. So I hope I can inspire you to stop relying on cash so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.